Her parents say that her murder was entirely preventable. 18-year-old Loyola University freshman, seen here with her mom. She was just 7 months into her college experience, very happy, enjoying school at Loyola University, when Sheridan Gorman was shot and killed on Chicago's lakefront in March. There she is with her dad, Tom. So the feds say that the suspect is 25-year-old Jose Medina. He really was no stranger to law enforcement. He had crossed the border illegally. He was freed into the country after that under the Biden administration in 2023. But then after that, he committed a robbery, police say, shoplifting at a store in Chicago. They arrested him, must have figured out, I would imagine, that he was in the country illegally, but they let him go again. More than 8 million, way more than 8 million, are the estimates of people who were actually caught at the border during the Biden administration, and this man is one of them, according to their records. 6 million more than President Trump's first term. The Gormans now calling for change. What they really want is just the rules that are in place to be abided by. They want people to care more about the safety of Americans than protecting people here who came in illegally, and some of whom committed crimes after coming here illegally. Here are Sheridan's mom and dad.
Because let me tell you what this actually looks like. It's an empty seat at the table. It's silence where there used to be laughter. It's waking up every day knowing that your child is gone and nothing is going to change that.
So they just lost their daughter 7 weeks ago, and they are up on their feet, and they were working for positive change around Sheridan's name and her memory. Her parents, Thomas and Jessica, who you saw right there, and her sister for the first time, Madeline, speaking out with me earlier today. I'm just so sorry for the reason that we're all here. And I know how strongly you feel that this did not happen in vain. And so I give you a lot of credit. You have a lot of courage to come out here today and to talk about this, because it's so fresh. It's only been about 7 weeks.
So 7 weeks today.
Yeah.
Today's Thursday.
7 weeks today. So she should be coming home right now.
Yesterday. She would have come home yesterday.
Yeah.
We
It's a hard day.
We shouldn't be sitting here right now. We should be picking her up in Chicago, bringing her home.
Taking her to dinner.
And, having her first summer back from college. All those plans, they're all upended, and now we're in the studio with you.
Madeline, you haven't spoken out as much as your mom and dad, but you wanted to be here today. Tell me what you want people to understand. I know you and Sheridan were supposed to spend this summer together. You were just a few weeks away from looking forward to this fun summer in Nashville, where you go to school at Vanderbilt, right?
So Sheridan and I were 11 months apart. I don't remember a time in my life without her, ever. You don't form memories yet. She was always right behind me. We spent every second together with sports. We were raised in the same house, same school. She was always there for me. She was always my confidence I needed. And you never imagine losing your sister so young. You're supposed to go through life together. She was supposed to be my maid of honor one day, right beside me. I'm supposed to be the honor for children, I think people really need to understand this is a reality. It's something you never, ever expect to happen to you, to happen to your sibling, your best friend, your daughter, but it's real, and it can happen.
As I said, this is very fresh for all of you. And,
the nightmare that we live is waking up every day knowing that our child is gone, and then I have to see my two girls that I love so much in so much pain every day. And then the next realization is, are we going to hear another news story that it happened to another family? And it would break our heart if we did nothing. So we're here to speak out, because we can't let this happen to another family. It's an unbearable pain.
And it can happen to anyone.
Jess, what was it like to be in the courtroom? It was just last week with this accused killer. What was that like for you, Jess?
It was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. And one of the things that's so hard is this devastating darkness has just come over me. It's a combination of grief and anger and hate. Those are feelings I've never felt before. And you wake up every day, and I fear that I'm going to have that in my heart forever, and I can't. When we went to the courthouse, I remember sitting there. I was sitting between my husband and one of my best friends, Cleo, and I was clutching their hands for dear life, holding on. And before he came, I was envisioning myself jumping over the bench in front of me, which, you know, or screaming out loud, just why? Like, why? Why did you do this? And like Tom said, our biggest fear, I can't even watch the news. Our biggest fear is this going to happen to someone else. I pray every day. I don't believe I have any enemies, but if I did, I wouldn't wish this on them. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. This is a heartbreak. You know, people do say it feels like your heart was ripped out of your chest. I thought the first day with the police coming to our door and falling to my knees, I thought that was the worst. But every day is worse. Every day is worse. You know, I have to walk by her bedroom. Our dogs lay on her bed all day. They don't understand. She was supposed to be home yesterday. She would have been coming home from Loyola. It hasn't felt real for us because she wouldn't have been home. And yesterday was probably one of the hardest days I've ever had. There's just a sadness that I've never experienced. And in that courtroom, I actually had a fury and anger that I've never felt before, that I can't believe I was there. Yeah. Why did I have to be there?
You know, we talk about the circumstances, Tom. She was on the pier on the lakefront in Michigan with some of her friends, going to see the Northern Lights, and there's a lighthouse at the end of the pier. Can you explain to everyone your understanding of what happened?
I understand that Sheridan was the first one walking out on that pier some distance ahead of everyone else. And she got to the end, went around the corner of the lighthouse, and saw a man in a mask holding a gun. She turned around quickly, warned her friends, there's a man with a gun, run. And she made it about 40 feet, and she was shot in the back. Shot in the back. I don't understand what kind of person could shoot a child in the back as they're running away. I don't know where that comes from.
It's a depravity. When you asked we were in the courthouse, he didn't look at us. I don't know if I wanted him to look at me, but he didn't look at us. At one point, I did see his face. He turned, presumably to see if someone was in the courthouse for him. We were surrounded by 30 of our best friends and family who had journeyed to Chicago with us. We had our family with them, and no one was there for him. But when he did turn to the side, I saw his eyes, and they were cold. I feared at that moment that there was never going to be, like, any justice that he would have would never take away or could never supersede the loss that we've had. Yeah. I don't feel like he would ever feel the level of loss.
We don't know what that justice looks like.
On the procedural side of this, so he has another court date on June the 1st, Tom. There's suggestion that he was incapable of standing trial. Give us your thought on that.
I saw him stand in the courtroom. He can stand.
One thing that I thought was actually notable was they had explained to us he does not understand any English, and he, you know, has the mentality of a small child. Well, first of all, a small child does not buy an illegal gun. A small child is not standing at an end of a pier waiting to kill someone. And also, when he was speaking with the judge, you can see on the side there was a translator. He was not even waiting for the translator to speak before he was answering the judge who was addressing him. It just leads me to believe that it's not as they say. He understood that judge. He understood before the translator was even speaking. That in itself was a very hard truth. It was a very hard thing to watch.
Someone who can plan this, to gain access to an illegal firearm, to have the wherewithal to wear a mask on the end of the pier, hiding, waiting for someone to come, that person planned that out. They are fully capable of standing trial.
Well, still ahead, the Gormans ask why some Illinois Democrats are prioritizing undocumented migrants, they say, over their own American children and other Americans when we come back.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.